Hello and welcome. The title of my paper is Students' Experiences of Learning Art History Online with respect to the Community of Inquiry Framework. My name is Choon Ying and I'm from Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts, Singapore. Let me begin with the context in which this research project began. The module selected for this case study is for first-year diploma in fine arts students at the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts. The shift to online learning took place abruptly in the middle of semester 2 earlier this year. The module I was teaching, Contextual and Theoretical Studies 1, went completely online in mid-February at short notice within 2 weeks of the announcement of Code Orange for the disease outbreak response system in Singapore. Both instructors and students were not familiar with conducting classes completely online. This module consisted of lectures and tutorials that were discussion-based. Adjustments were made each week with increased awareness of the affordances of various learning platforms, and this study emerged out of the critical need to better understand the obstacles faced by students and how they communicate online. Few studies have been conducted using the Community of Inquiry framework for teaching art-related subjects. This research project was undertaken as part of the initiatives of the Pedagogy and Research Unit at NAFA to equip faculty members to be proficient in educational research and to be able to recommend improvements to teaching and learning in an informed manner. So the overarching research question I explored was, what are fine arts students' experiences of online learning? The purpose of this research is to investigate students' experiences of being in a new learning environment, whether it is in a fully text-based platform like the Canvas discussion forum, which we use at our institution, or an audio-video chat platform like Canvas Conference. In particular, what obstacles did students observe and encounter in the respective online learning platforms, and what preferences did students have about communicating online with each other and with the instructor as compared to communicating in the physical classroom. Let me now introduce the Community of Inquiry framework that was selected for this study. It has become a significant tool for online and blended education research since it was first conceptualized in the year 2000 for a text-based computer-mediated learning environment by Garrison, Anderson, and Archer. In the first decade that followed the introduction of this framework, this keynote article has been cited in over 600 scholarly publications. Another important article that Garrison co-authored with several researchers in the year 2008 developed a survey instrument for measuring COI, had over 1,000 citations in Google Scholar within 3 years of its publication. In his keynote article, Garrison states that a worthwhile educational experience is embedded within a community of inquiry that is composed of teachers and students. Learning occurs within the community through the interaction of 3 core elements: social presence, cognitive presence, and teaching presence. As the COI framework is grounded in the constructivist philosophy, where learning occurs as learners are actively involved in a process of meaning and knowledge construction, making the community the central impetus for a meaningful educational experience. Now, let me elaborate more on each of these presences. First, we have social presence, which consists of 3 subcategories: affective expression, open communication, and group cohesion. Effective expression refers to the learner's ability and confidence to express feelings related to the educational experience. Examples of effective expression include humor, self-disclosure, and also the use of emoticons. Open communication refers to mutual awareness and recognition of each other's contributions when interacting around common intellectual activities and tasks. It also refers to risk-free expression, acknowledging others, and being encouraging. Group cohesion refers to activities that build and sustain a sense of group commitment. Next, we have cognitive presence, which is based on the practical inquiry model that consists of 4 phases. Firstly, we have the triggering event, followed by exploration, integration, and resolution. This practical inquiry model is defined as the extent to which participants are able to construct meaning through sustained communication. A triggering event refers to recognizing the problem and a sense of puzzlement, while exploration refers to information exchange and the discussion of ambiguities. Next, we have integration, which refers to connecting ideas and creating solutions. Lastly, resolution refers to applying new ideas and critically assessing solutions. Thirdly, we have teaching presence, which consists of 3 subcategories: curriculum design and organization, facilitation, and direct instruction. Here is an overview of my methodology. A survey was created by adapting a list of 34 indicators developed by Garrison and a group of researchers. And it was based on the 3 presences and their subcategories. Next, I selected the most relevant statements for the 3 distinct learning environments students encountered during the semester. Firstly, in the traditional classroom, followed by in the Canvas discussion forum, and finally in the Canvas conference session. Students were asked to rate each sentence on a Likert scale. On completion of the survey, a semi-structured interview was scheduled individually with each student to gather their reasons for the survey responses. Here is a list of survey statements for learning on Canvas discussion forum. So for teaching presence, there are a total of 6 statements. The first 2 statements are indicators of curriculum design and instruction and organization. So statement 1, the instructor provided clear instructions on how to participate in course learning activities. 2, the instructor clearly communicated important due dates for learning activities. Statement 3 and 4 refers to indicators of facilitation. So for 3, the instructor was helpful in guiding the class towards understanding course topics in a way that helped me clarify my thinking. 4, the instructor helped to keep course participants engaged and participating in productive dialogue. Next, we have statements 5 and 6, which are indicators of direct instruction. So for 5, the instructor provided feedback that helped me understand my strengths and weaknesses. 6, the instructor provided feedback in a timely fashion. Next, we have social presence, and there are 3 statements. The first 2 are indicators of open communication, 7 and 8. So 7 is, I felt comfortable participating in the discussions related to that day's lecture topic. 8, I felt comfortable interacting with my classmates in an online setting where I do not see or hear them. Statement 9 is an indicator of group cohesion. Purely text-based online discussions during the tutorial help me to develop a sense of collaboration. Next, we have 4 statements under cognitive presence. And so for each statement, there are indicators of the 4 phases of practical inquiry. So statement 10, I felt motivated to explore content-related questions. This is an indicator of a triggering event. Statement 11, discussing course content with my classmates was valuable in helping me appreciate different perspectives. This is an indicator of exploration. And 12, learning activities or questions posted in the discussion forum help me construct explanations. This is an indicator of integration. And lastly, I can apply the knowledge gained during tutorials to my assignments for this module, as well as other modules. This is an indicator of resolution. Next, we go on to data collection. So out of a class of 21 students, 3 agreed to be interviewed. And coincidentally, these 3 students were international students who spoke and understood relatively well English. The final grade of these students was spread across a range reflecting their differing levels of demonstrated learning outcomes. And all 3 of them had no previous experience of taking online classes. The interviews were recorded and transcribed for collecting rich data. The posts on discussion Canvas forums were another source of data to analyze interactions that took place during the tutorial. From the data analysis, we have rich data from the interviews resulting when 2 or more students shared the same sentiments. To ensure reliability of data, each separate thought in the interview data was coded and iterated by a colleague. Also, a triangulation strategy was utilized to support student statements with actual tutorial discussion posts as well as the instructor's observations. So now let me share a few key findings that emerged from the interview data. The first finding was that there was, in a purely text-based online environment, there was increased cognitive presence while negatively impacting social presence. So to give some examples of how cognitive presence was increased, more students actually responded to each question as compared to a physical classroom discussion. There was also a wider range of responses. Students appreciated being able to view each other's opinions in the online forum, and they noted that there was more time to read and think through the text of their classmates' posts, especially if the person used complicated grammar. Similarly, there was more time to think through before typing out an answer. So let me now elaborate more on why increasing cognitive presence is important. One of the learning outcomes at the end of this module is for students to be able to articulate their comparative analysis of 2 artworks through writing an essay. Lessons with enhanced cognitive presence are designed in such a manner as to equip students to sharpen their language abilities and also skills of observation, analytical thinking, and interpretation of an artwork. One of the key factors to increase intensity and quality of cognitive presence is dependent on the quality of questions that are crafted for class discussion, what Garrison refers to as the use of an effective moderation style in discussions. For instance, open-ended, thought-provoking questions are more likely to generate richer discussion than direct, closed questions. So I'll share briefly here an example of an artwork discussed in a fully text-based online lesson. And the topic which we were discussing for that day was on Impressionism. So we have here some responses from students to a question, and it shows it's an evidence of cognitive presence as well as social presence. Okay, in particular, we have exploration, integration of ideas, we have group cohesion to some extent, as they were discussing course content with their classmates, and this was the statement that was in the survey. Discussing course content with my classmates was valuable in helping me appreciate different perspectives. The triggering event, the open-ended question, was which of Manet's paintings sparked a revolution in the world of art? So I've included responses from 4 different students who replied with varying levels of detail. So due to time constraints, I will not read out each student's response, but you may pause the video to read through them. So overall, there was a lack of social presence in a text-based online environment. Firstly, we have